What's up, everybody? Horrible time to be an Eagles fan. A couple weeks ago, we were just saying it was the best time to be a Philadelphia sports fan right now. Kai DeRay first in the comments. We got a couple topics we're going to hit on today. Probably last show of the season, but we'll do some bonus episodes. We've got a lot coming up beyond the Eagles, and we've got, the recap of the Eagles 49ers, updated Super Bowl picks now that the Eagles are out. And there's a lot going on with the firing of KP. Will it fix the offense? What coordinators are out there? And all our favorite games, memes, and moments from the season. And everybody's in the comments saying Patullo is gone. Let's celebrate. And I feel like most of the people, that's the consensus, but there was some in the minority, and we may be one of them or two of them, with wanting continuity. What do you think?
Yeah, I am having a very odd reaction to this loss. I've not taken it like I usually take a loss. Usually I have anger first, and then I get to my moment of zen sort of relief, like when it's over. I actually woke up with zen relief on Monday. I woke up feeling I made the analogy to and I know you love your two dogs. I wouldn't make the analogy to a human because sports are are for fun. They're our outlet. But I would make the analogy to a pet. Like you love this pet and it's sweet. It pisses you off sometimes, but you love it, and it gets sick, and you're trying everything you can to make it feel better, to not get better, and then you just finally decide, you know what, we have to put her down, well, that's all we can do. And that's how I felt about the Eagles. I felt like they were put out of their misery from the season, and I was kind of at peace with that. I'm like, I guess they really weren't that good. I guess we were kind of farther away than we thought, and that was from being at the game. And then I watched the game. I actually just finished. Maybe I shouldn't have timed it, but I just finished rewatching the game minutes before this podcast ended, and I'm furious. I am angry all over again, and for whatever reason, it could just be I'm reacting in this moment, and I don't usually do that in this podcast. But my main blame is on the defense. The defense let us down multiple times in this game. The offense wasn't great. They didn't capitalize when they really needed to, but we had the lead multiple times in this game. It wasn't like we just had the lead and then it was kind of given away. It was like the offense got you the lead and then you lost it. The Eagles had the lead for the majority of the third quarter. Then they got the lead again in the fourth quarter. They needed a stop at the end. Not even keep them out from scoring. They could have given up a field goal, but they let them score a touchdown again at the end. And you just needed one more stop from the defense, and you didn't get it. And now it's all about KP, fire KP. I haven't even digested that. KP is clearly a scapegoat at this point. I get it. They had to fire him. It was sort of like a demand from the fan base. But I'm very frustrated by the view, and I feel like as great as the defense was all year, completely letting them off the hook for multiple letdowns in that game.
Yeah, they got out-coached on both sides of the ball. Shanahan, brilliant, took Vic Fangio apart. People are absolving the defense because of the 2 turnovers, but Quinyon got completely cooked on the entire first drive. 7 points on the first drive just can't happen, especially when you had a Texans defense last night that only allowed 3 points. You had the Patriots-Chargers game, they only allowed 3 points. That was the identity of this football team. And the banged-up 49ers, Demarcus Robinson, Juwan Jennings, scored 7 on the opening drive. You need to allow maybe 0 or 3 at best. And that's the margin right there. It was 4 to 5 points too many. The extra point and the 4 points on the opening drive. And then you're right on. I didn't even think about the third quarter lead and the fourth quarter lead. That's a whole another way to look at it that way. Too many points there in the second half, because in the first half, the Eagles offense had over 200 something yards. They were on pace for 500 yards. They had 13 points. They had the play to AJ Brown down the sideline. Like, they could have scored on that drive. They could have scored 30, 40 points, and they were on pace for, a lot of yards. Now, they didn't have a great offensive performance in the second half, but that's what this team did all year. They got leads like the Bucs game and some different games this year, and they just clutched their blanket and held on for dear life in these games. And that was the identity of this team. There's a lot of teams that won ugly this past weekend. We thought we were going to be one of them. We didn't think we were going to light the world up. Could they have scored, had some better play calls at the end of the game and won the game? Ball in hand at the end of the game. It's all you can ask for. But, yeah, too many points from the defense. You can't give up 23, 24 points. You had to keep it under 20. It's too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're on that last drive, they did get to the 20, and they got to the 20 quite efficiently, and they could have easily kicked a field goal. Another thing that infuriated me that seems to not infuriate anybody else. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm watching the same game as everybody, and sometimes I'm not. I was furious at Nick Sirianni for sprinting across the sideline and berating AJ Brown in that moment. Why? Why are you doing that? He was getting off the field. He was working off the field. Nick just decides to just sprint and yell and scream at this guy. And now all the fans are pissed off at AJ, except here's the problem. AJ is reacting to this the same way as the fans. The fans are furious at the team. The fans want to maybe leave a game early or walk out of a game early. Like, AJ is mirroring the fans' reaction to the team. He's the one pointing out everything. And I feel like almost like AJ Brown's going to be a scapegoat. Like, we're not serious, Philly. We're not going to run AJ Brown out of town, are we? One of the best receivers in the league, an absolute machine. Like, we're not going to do that too, right? Like, we're cool with the KP thing. Can we take a deep breath and realize that we're putting way too much pressure on this guy? I don't get it. I think that was very, very poor coaching by Sirianni on national TV to run over and scream and yell at your star player like that. It's insane.
Yeah, toward the end of the season, and even with Hard Knocks and with Jalen, when he was cleaning out his locker the other day, he said he talked to AJ, and their relationship seemed good. They seemed to patch it up. It was almost 2 or 3 years of this. And we kind of got some internal notes of like what happened in their relationship, and don't want to air it out here, but it seems like they put it behind them and they did well. Seems like they also penalized him on that last play. I mean, even with Dallas Goedert in triple coverage, you could have did a jump ball. Jalen could have ran for the first, but you had one-on-ones on the outside with your two best receivers there. And, yeah, it looks like A.J. Brown still the pre-June 1st cap stuff it's impossible to cut him at this point. But
we have a breaking special guest. And I'm adding levity to the show because you and I are all mad. I would like to introduce to you your nephew. He wants to wave to you real quick. He has been working diligently on this Lego for the longest time, and it's Galactus. So Galactus is making his debut on the podcast. Killian really wanted to show it to me. Yeah. So Killian, you have to go, but okay. Millions and millions of people now have seen your Galactus. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and someone called us two idiots, or maybe
whatever.
Maybe they're talking about two of the Eagles players or two of the Eagles coaches, but a lot of people couldn't agree more with us right now, and there's a lot up in the air. I think the firing limits who you can bring in, right? Like Kevin Patullo was a first-year play caller, and you can't bring in like Ben Johnson's assistant guy because it would be another first-time play caller. So you can't bring in like a young, innovative guy. You can't bring in like I guess they could bring in like a Stefanski and McDaniel or Dable, but they would have to gut their entire coaching staff, and that person would have to bring in all their own people. So, and they didn't actually fire Patullo. The reports are wrong. He just is not the offensive coordinator anymore. So he's probably going to go back to the pass game coordinator, get demoted. And I would imagine they bring in somebody in Nick Sirianni's tree, like a Frank Reich. I don't think they're going to get Dayball or any big flashy name, but it's not going to be anybody innovative either. They're going to either be established play caller like Dayball was Jalen Hurts' coach at Alabama, or they're just going to bring in a senior kind of offensive person, and maybe KP can rise again because I think the media is overreacting and they're trying to rage bait people and stuff like that. I think they want continuity, but for a PR move, they had to demote Kevin Patullo.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more that it definitely was a PR move. Now, we will call it fair. The offense was a problem. They didn't score more than 19 points against 7 straight winning teams, like at the end of the year.
Against the playoff teams, yep.
Yeah, like the playoff teams, like they didn't produce, right? So that does speak to the coordinator. I am looking, and this is a me thing, I look at things in a vacuum, and I'm trying to not let my bias of what I saw all season. I'm strictly looking at the 49er game. To me, with a depleted 49er team that had their best, arguably they're the best players, McCaffrey, but Kittle went out with 5 or 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Kittle was out of the game in the first half. You don't have to deal with Kittle the whole second half, and you had a lead. You had a lead twice in the second half, and you lost.
Not to mention,
for me,
our time of possession was 35 minutes, and theirs was 24 minutes. We had like 11 minutes we had the ball more than them because that was the first half. We moved the ball well, and they had some new play calls. They were really efficient in the red zone in the first half. Dallas got her to 2 touchdowns, and that's why they went to him on the last play of the game. But that's the wrong decision from the quarterback. He didn't run at all. We thought they were saving him for the playoffs. How many plays? He got tripped up on the first down play. He could have on the final play.
There was another one he got tripped on, and he did not have an explosive get out on it either. So you never know. I mean, like I don't try to read between the lines like too much, but you never know. I mean, maybe he was harboring an ankle or something. There could be some weird stuff in there. And you also don't know like the dynamic of what's going on. I was hoping Hard Knocks would give us a little bit more of that interaction between the coaches. Hard Knocks honestly was weak for me. Like it was like, oh, let's just feature a player and talk like lightly about them and then basically show you highlights from the game. Like to me, I would have liked to see a little bit more of the soap opera stuff because there was a lot of obvious drama on not only just on the Eagles team, but on all the teams, especially with the Giants. I mean, the Giants fired a coach and they were having a way off season and the Cowboys kind of collapsed. Like to me, it seemed like everything was very bright and sunshiny on the teams. And obviously it wasn't. If you're going to end up relieving a coordinator at the end of the year, like, I don't know, it's another thing to add to my disappointment pile of this week.
It was too many teams and they probably didn't have enough content. And when the cameras were around, because the cameras weren't there all the time, they probably were really safe at what they said in front of them. So it was very soft.
Yeah.
And
I guess if they uncover drama, teams are going to just refuse to be a part of it. But I don't think they can. If the NFL has a contract with HBO and sort of forces the teams against probably their will to do it. So yeah, you're right. They probably
do when it's one team. Eventually, you get something juicy when it's one team. I think just splitting between all that time between 4 different teams is tough. But
I'd love to see what gets edited out. It's probably some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Anything else on the game? I mean, yeah, I thought they moved it well. I thought the defense gave up way too many points. I thought the quarterback played how he did all season. And the big thing on Jalen Hurts was like he's great in the big games. He's amazing in the Super Bowl and stuff like that. I feel like it was now that I think about it, like I feel like him and the offensive coaching staff and all those guys were amazing in the Super Bowl because they got 2 weeks of prep. I feel like they didn't know who they were playing this wild card week. Their preparation, which comes down to coaching, which is probably one of the reasons KP was fired. They knew exactly when they played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. When they show you this, do that. When they try and stop the run, they lit them up in the passing game. Usually when you run that inside zone passing play and you hand the ball off to the running back, if the defensive end crashes, the quarterback's supposed to keep the ball and run. Not one time in the game this week did Jalen Hurts keep it and run. And then not one pass play when nobody was open downfield and they're running, deep quarters covers. Not one time did Jalen Hurts take off and run. Like, all you need him to do it is 1, 2, 3 times to keep maybe 1 or 2 handoff plays on the running game and 1 pass play to keep the defense honest. Like, wild card weekend when we played the Packers the Super Bowl year, I think the first play of the game, Jalen Hurts ran like 20-something yards up the sideline. Like a huge explosive play in the run game. And it just never happened this year. And
that could be why you see so many reports. There's so many reports coming out that are saying that there's players coming forward and saying that the issue wasn't Patullo, that the issue is the quarterback. I mean, I'm always the type to have like a level-headed take. Usually, like I've been heavy hard on the defense during this podcast, but it is a little bit of everything, right? Because when the defense finally did make a play, like they did get a turnover, you had no complimentary score. Like what did they get? 3 points off the 2 turnovers? I mean, that's really weak. The Texans won big last night because both of their turnovers, they scored touchdowns off or on. Like the one was they ran it back. So it's like, if we would have had that, we definitely would have won. So the offense let me down there.
Stroud put the ball on the ground like 5 times and they still only held the Steelers like 3 points. But
yeah,
they did a lot of new stuff with Jalen this year, though. They did a lot of stuff under center, and they had a lot of new looks. So he progressed at the same time, but he regressed a lot in other areas. I was super disappointed with him overall this season. And he had a lot going on, though, coming off the Super Bowl, and then he go to the White House, and he got married, and not making excuses for him, but he did some things well, and they progressed. People want to put it in a box, and they want to blame one person, and they want to blame. We've always said all year it's been a little bit of everything, and I'll continue to say that. But we kind of look for answers and stats to back them up all season. A couple 1,000-yard receivers. We look for all kinds of reasons of why they turn it around, and they just never did, and they looked exactly the same, and they made a change with KP. Saw it from a mile away. And have you looked at it at all? Who do you think they'll bring in? Or do you have any? What do you want?
I was going to do a couple quick comment responses because the comments, especially on Instagram, are all fired up. We're getting hit up as being low IQ fans, which it's fine if you maybe just caught a second of what we're talking about. Maybe you don't know who we are and what we're all about. But something about us not being critical enough of Hurts. I mean, we literally just criticized Hurts. I don't know. Maybe you just tuned in late talking about how he didn't take off and run. So that was an interesting, weird take. And somebody said we're too nice to Hurts. Somebody said we're not nice enough to Hurts. I think everybody's sort of all over the place. And I think that kind of speaks to my point as this year has just been a combination of lots of deficiencies in lots of different areas, like all at the same time. We haven't even gotten into one thing about this. Is the last thing I'll talk about in the game, which I thought was completely skewed. Again, not the reason. I'm not blaming the referees. I will never do that because you got to play. But the officiating was extremely skewed. You cannot tell me that in a professional football game, one team commits one singular penalty the whole game. And that penalty was the late hit on the Hurt slide. And that's it. There was no other holds the entire game. Like, that was kind of insane. So I thought the officiating was very one-sided and a factor. As far as the offensive coordinator that they bring in, to your question, we need to be able to read between the lines. And what I mean by that is Sirianni going to accept or allow a veteran coordinator to come in? If that answer is yes, obviously it opens up the pool. You have some some big time names out there. You have some head coaches that got fired that might get relegated or would take an offensive coordinator position if something's out there. If not, if Hurts wants to be sort of the quote unquote big man in charge, then you're going to need somebody newer or somebody possibly even promoted from within. And you know how the Eagles organization works. They love promoting from within and they love bringing in people that they know. So I have no idea. My gut is to bring in somebody that has a lot of experience. I think if you do that, that can help push Hurts. And I think it can help push Sirianni maybe to be more professional at times. I see people calling for Mike McDaniels. Could you imagine? I just can't physically imagine McDaniels and Sirianni sprinting and running and jumping around the sideline like two young, short, small guys. Like it just doesn't vibe with me. I've been kind of calling for like a Vic Fangio type, a very stoic, old school, this is what we're going to do kind of guy. So that's the type of person I'm hoping for. I don't have a name for you at this point.
A lot of people are saying Peterson, Bieniemy. I think the only answer is somebody, and you got to look within Steichen, Kellen Moore's, and Nick Sirianni's, and back all the way back from when Nick Sirianni was a wide receivers coach with the Chargers. You have to look in his tree because I just, what does Nick Sirianni do for the organization at that point if Vic Fangio has the defense and brings in all his own guys on that side of the ball, and then a Mike McDaniel comes in, or a Matt LaFleur or somebody like Kevin Stefanski, and he brings in all his own guys on that side of the ball? What is the point of Nick Sirianni besides being like, I mean, the CEO kind of thing? Maybe he's cool with that, and he's good at it, and he works well with Howie, and he works well with Jeff, and he kind of does what they say, and when they want to make a change, he goes with it. Doug refused to make the change. You guys think Doug Peterson's going to come in here and be the offensive coordinator? Absolutely not. Maybe Frank Reich, because Frank Reich's his buddy, and he would be more like a senior advisor, and him and KP would work together, and they still save face to the public. Maybe from somebody from the Andy Reid tree. I like Bieniemy, whoever said that in the comments. But yeah, I would say there's only one guy that fits it, and it's Frank Reich, because he doesn't threaten anybody.
Yeah.
He's not
and
hot,
a lot of people
coveted
in the
as a head
comments,
coach.
A lot of people in the comments are saying Nick Foles, and I did see that podcast.
You can have another first-time play caller.
You not only can you not have a first-time play caller at this age and stage of Hurts' career, guys, Hurts has not had, forget his pro career, even going back to his last 3 years of his college, he's had different offensive play callers literally every single year. The one level or bit of consistency that you could give Hurts would be to give him a veteran play caller, a veteran NFL play caller. And let me just say it like this. Y'all are really quick to run everybody out of town. You mean to tell me you want to bring in Super Bowl MVP and legend BDN to be our offensive coordinator? And what? The first game where we make a bad fourth quarter call, stuff like that, we're going to run Nick Foles out of town? Like, guys, I love y'all, and nobody loves Nick Foles more than me. I got his jersey. I got autographs, the whole nine. But that ain't happening. It's just not. And I don't want it to. I don't think an ex-player as a coordinator is a good job at all. Deuce Staley, it worked, but not like an ex all-time great like that. I just don't think it works. Sorry.
I think Dayball has the balls to come in and keep some of the core staff still there. Like, they like Jamal Singleton, the running backs coach. They like Aaron Moorhead, the wide receivers coach. They obviously like KP and stuff still in the role because they promoted him. They just had to make the change. I think Dayball could whip him into shape. I thought a lot of the problem was, not only losing, a huge problem with the Eagles is when Kellen left, they lost Doug Nussmeier, their quarterbacks coach. He became the OC of the Saints. So, you know, I thought that was a big loss. But, you know, even when Kellen came in, the offense didn't change. And that's where a lot of the stuff you were talking about earlier, people like the indictment of Jalen Hurts and stuff, or we're not being critical enough on Jalen Hurts. No, we've been pretty darn critical on Jalen Hurts. Most people are saying, like, hey, it doesn't matter who the OC is. They could bring in freaking Vince Lombardi. Like, the Eagles don't change their offense. So if they do another coordinator and it doesn't work, the next person that's going to be sent out of town is going to be either the head coach or the quarterback. And people are saying Jalen Hurts didn't get an extension after the Super Bowl or didn't get a raise or this, that, and the other. Like, and Saquon did, Nick Sirianni got an extension. Like, the only way I see Jalen Hurts getting a raise is if it helps them, like, kick the can down the lane, open up more cap space. And they're going into 2026 with the most cap space and the most draft picks they've ever had ever. So you guys saying,
Yeah,
like,
actually, I think they have the 25th now after Pittsburgh lost yesterday. I think they have the 25th pick.
Yeah, it's going to look a lot different. They're going to have like 8 starters gone. I mean, Reed Blankenship's a free agent. A lot of people running Jake Elliott out of town. You're going to lose Jalen Phillips there. Who knows if Lane's going to retire. BG's not really a starter, but he's probably done again. There's a lot more there, but I think they just literally, I don't think they can take any skill players. I think they need to, even if they lose AJ Brown, like they'll re-sign like a Jahan Dotson and they'll look more like the Bills, like having a bunch of, competent guys and no clear star guy out there on offense. But they're going to lose Dallas Goedert as well as a free agent. So they have a lot of holes to fill. But with the picks, they're getting way too ahead of ourselves. But with the picks, I mean, they need to take nothing but offensive and defensive linemen because that's how this team has always succeeded. It was built in the trenches, and the line play was horrendous this year. I mean, there was a lot of holds. There was that big Nolan Smith hold we saw in the game, but Jalen Phillips and stuff, they got no pass rush in the second half of that game when they needed to get a stop. And the offensive line was horrible. All of them were bad. Landon,
it was hard for me
to from retiring. Lane was supposed to play, and then he wasn't, and then he was supposed to play, and then we were in the parking lot, and they ruled him out. And then, Cam's back issues, and they didn't have one guy on the offensive line.
I'm telling you, bro, that's why it was so hard for me to scapegoat Patullo at the very, very end. Did he have his deficiencies throughout the year? Yes. The defense propped them up enough, but man, he fell on the sword for sure. But you're saying, and I have not gone through all the tweets and all the information, that Patullo is going to remain with the organization. They're just removing him as the OC. He's not being removed from the organization, correct?
Yeah, even the tweet I shared, I was a little late on it. We were both working and stuff, but like it said he was fired, and that was Adam Schefter. He's still, he could leave. He could go join another staff if he has allies, or go on Kellen's staff, or go on, I don't know what other coaching trees he's a part of, go on Shane Steichen's staff. I have no idea. He could leave on his own terms, but he's been, from what I hear, he's been demoted. He's just not the offensive coordinator anymore. He lost that title. And
yeah, I mean, listen, we live a charmed life. There's teams in this league that would kill to be the 3rd seed and to have the ball at the end of the game with a chance to be going to the next round. Like, there's teams that haven't even sniffed that. I find it extremely interesting that the Eagles have either gone to the Super Bowl or they've had a first-round exit in alternating years. The offensive coordinators, this is an interesting factoid. The offensive coordinators that were taken away were after Super Bowl appearance years, the 2 that we lost, and then the 2 that we got after that ended up being one and dones as well. So if that trend follows and we can find the right guy, we should be right back in the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, it was internal hire and then like a established guy, internal hires. And the internal stuff has never worked. And having said that, if they won 1 or 2 playoff games, it would have probably kept his job. That's why I don't think it's going to be that radical of a change. It's going to be somebody as assistant. Because it was kind of done by committee, I feel like, for the most part. I feel like their offensive meetings, a lot of the different position groups and the quarterback's coach and Nick and Kevin and the run game coordinator had kind of say in a lot of different things. But we'll see what happens.
The Chargers fired Greg Roman, too. That's another name in the comments, their offensive coordinator. They had a pretty weak outing in the playoffs, and I don't think they're getting a lot out of Herbert. Personally, we've always been pretty critical of that team, but that's another name.
Yeah, and he's from here. He's Holy Spirit, Ventnor. guy, and
That's eagerly move.
he was complaining that he was overly blamed, Kevin Patullo, and yeah, I think he was. You can't pin it all on one guy. We haven't really done that all year.
No,
We've
we've been
talked about
fair.
some.
We criticized the things that need to be criticized. There was times where Kevin Patullo needed to be criticized, and I think overall the offense lacked it. He did not get the maximum amount out of what I still think to be was the best offensive roster in the league, minus the line though. And you brought that up. You don't have an offensive line, you got nothing. You don't give Hurts time. What can you
No
do?
run game.
How's he going to run and scramble if he's under duress all the time, getting flushed out every time?
Yeah,
It's tough.
no run game.
All right, where are we
And
at on the agenda? I feel like we beat this game to
we
death.
beat him to death.
Almost,
Now we'll have a little bit of fun, man. We got, who's going to win the Super Bowl now, and we've got, what we did have a lot of fun this year. I was pretty negative when I thought about this when I wrote this. I was like, what was my favorite game of the year? And I was like, because honestly, this year was exhausting. Every game kind of looked ugly like that. And I was like, none of these games are fun. But then I thought back and I would say that Giants game we all went was very fun. And not that the Giants are anything special, but they always play us tough. And the year before, they had a really good defense. And I thought that game was interesting because they played without A.J. Brown, and the offense functioned really well. They just gave the ball to the open guy. It was like a systemless game. They ran the ball really well. Tank Bigsby had a gajillion yards. That Giants game was a really great one. And obviously the Rams game was really fun. But I would say those are probably my best moments from this year.
Yeah, the most singular, lit, crazy jump around moment was by far the blocked field goal. We had some fun moments in the Cowboy opener game with the lightning delay and going upstairs and seeing all them. And then obviously the family games will always be great. I loved the scheduling of the Black Friday game. I thought that was such a great, fun way to spend usually a day that I don't do anything. I kind of just slop around and eat leftovers. Knowing it actually excited me on Thanksgiving. I was excited for Thanksgiving because I had the next day jitters. Obviously that game wasn't as fun. And then every year it's a highlight for me. And I like that we don't go to every away game. I like that we just kind of pick one and it's a full event for us. So I will say that the Green Bay game, getting to see Lambeau, getting to meet the simple Midwestern folk, and a dirty, gritty, ugly win at the frozen tundra was probably my best memory from the season for sure.
I think Tim Armstrong agrees with you because he's already in the comments saying, "Oh yeah, and Luch says we had so much fun this year. A lot of family and memories were made, and we're trying to stretch it out, do an event at Dolan's, go to a couple Flyers games, go to Shane Gillis, and see what we can do to bridge the gap between now and next season and between now and Sea Isle in June." So
yeah, I think 4th and John and Hungry Dogs should side by side for the Shane Gillis tailgate, and we'll help promote. That's what I want to get pumped for. Philly's opener pumped. And I said it this morning. I think the Flyers might eke into the playoffs, and we could have a little bit of fun with that. I think we really could. I haven't been to a Flyers playoff game in well over 10 years. I haven't been to a Flyers game. We went to the last game last year, but it was more just to kind of hang out and family, a competitive Flyers game where they needed to win. I haven't been in a competitive, I guess it's called Xfinity Center hockey game in so long. So I am excited for that going forward to be positive for sure. And semi underrated, the scooters. I had so much fun scooting around the lots. Phil, thank you, Phil, for Christmas. He bought us matching scooters from his own pocket. No sponsor needed. And we zipped around the lots and we got to cover some serious ground. Got to spend extra time that we usually spend walking, hanging with friends. We spent extra time with the fourth guys. We spent extra time with Bobby. And then we even got to go back to our OG tailgate in the park. So even though we lost, I'll give an honorable mention to getting back into the playoffs and scooting around the lots.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at. Winning the Super Bowl, winning the division back to back, breaking the curse. A couple wins there would have been good, but yeah, we got to do the whole tailgate twice with the time saved scootering around. And yeah, so before we get to like our Super Bowl, who we like for there, who we want, somebody asked me about Saquon Barkley, and this is not really an original thought of mine, but I don't think you'll ever get that performance again, just as he gets older and stuff like that. He's still going to be a phenomenal player. I think a lot of his struggles came from the offensive line. I think it was from the usage from the year before, kind of caught up to him, and the offensive line. So I'm going to look for them to maybe groom some young go-getters that they get in the draft to bring them into Stoutland University, and hopefully a nice restful summer and conditioning for Saquon, and he'll be back, baby. We love him. So,
bro, give me a two-headed running back. I mean, Tank Bigsby was severely and criminally utilized the whole season. I thought he should be getting 8 to 10 carries the majority of the year in games, so that way Saquon would have been even more fresh, and his production would have been even better if he would have you give Bigsby 8 touches when Barkley gets the ball, he's gonna be way more explosive. So I thought that was a big mistake this year. I think they just kept thinking, we're going to get that 200-yard rushing performance out of Barkley, just keep feeding him. But no line. So
yeah, and someone mentioned, Tim mentioned, 4th and John will be at Pittsburgh. If you've never been to Pittsburgh, I've never been to Pittsburgh. It's a good opportunity to see the city and go to the draft. They're going to be out there, and that's another thing.
I'll be down.
From now in between next year, you can go do the draft. And for the Super Bowl, man, wouldn't it be wild if the Niners and the Rams win again, and it's 2 wild card teams, and the Rams host a home playoff game, and if the Bills and the Texans win again, and it's 2 wild card teams on that side of the ball, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I love D'Amico Ryans, and I want to see the Bills go the distance for sure. So there's a couple memes out there like they got to get the job done, and
I know.
They, Patriots, great team. The 2 top seeds there, they're great. They're young teams. The Bears are a young team, first time kind of playoff team. So, I would like to see probably the Bills and if I had to pick one, I think the Rams. The Bills, Rams in the Super Bowl makes the most sense right now, and not to steal your 2.
No,
but
it's actually not my 2. It's actually
Bills,
not my
Bears.
2. I want Bills.
Yeah,
Bears
have a very similar fan base to ours, so they've been pretty cool to watch. I like the fan. I like following the fans when it comes to Super Bowl matchups. So it would be a thrill to see 2 cities that have yet to be in the big game in a long time for Chicago and a really long time for Buffalo. And Buffalo's sort of like our little brother team. And I say that tongue in cheek. They're a very serious, very loyal fan base. One of the best trips we've ever been on. Shame we didn't get to make it this year. Obviously, we were busy doing family stuff around the holidays and all that. We would have been in Niagara Falls with all the crazies for sure in that game, and the rain and all that if it was a different time. But I would like to see the Bills get their first bowl, and I think Chicago would have earned it to be there. And they have a young quarterback that's kind of getting there, but could be time for the NFL to maybe write Josh Allen's story if they've been hyping this guy up long enough. All the big boy quarterbacks are pretty much out of the way. He's got to get through, a Bo Nix and And their
Drake
stadium
May and stuff
opens
like
in
that.
July. So they could
Yeah.
potentially be at the season opener at their brand new stadium doing the banner drop. People would be calling that it was rigged. But their brand new stadium opens.
It'd be a good
next year.
story.
It'd be cool. Be very cool. And honorable mention this weekend, Saturday. I don't know if we can bring kids. I'll find out. We got invited to the opening of Ocean's 18 in Ocean Casino, and it is built by the guy who created the Sphere in Las Vegas. So it is a mini golf course with a bar, open bar, and it's and the mini golf course, there's video walls. So there's like sharks swimming up to you and at you while you're trying to play mini golf. So it might be adults only.
Cool.
I have no idea. I don't know if we could bring kids. I'm going to find out, but I have to let them know within the next day or two. But I don't know when it's opening, but this is like a little preview thing we were invited to Saturday night at Ocean Casino.
Wow, that would be cool. I'm free as heck on Saturday. I have nothing going on. I mean, I guess I keep an eye on a football game or two.
That's another way too. The Fanatic Sportsbook Bar and Book there, so maybe a good time.
Here's something crazy. So I get home. I had a long Monday. We talked about it before we got on the podcast, work wise, Eagles loss wise and otherwise. And I finally sat down on the couch and I put the Monday Night Football game on, and I got like physically nauseous. Like I couldn't watch football. Like it hit me real hard. Like right in that moment is when it really hit me, because I was I woke up into busy and I was like, I felt the pain. I felt the tiredness from running, the soreness. I mean, you're sore. We're on our feet. We're covering 10 miles of walking and everything like that, standing the whole game. Like I'm sore. Like I worked out the next day, and finally get home to relax, put Monday Night Football on, and I just went, oh my God, the Eagles season's over. I'm watching them, the Steeler fans whip the towels. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. And they were winning like 3-0.
It could have went worse. Our game could have went worse. Looking, some of these teams just scored 3 points. The Chargers, 3 points. The Steelers, 3 points. And I like Aaron Rodgers on McAfee. I'm a fan. And I loved Enigma, his like ayahuasca crazy thing on Netflix. I just think
I still gotta watch that.
Interesting. He kind of sucks, but he's super interesting. And his final pass of maybe his career was a pick six. He just doesn't, as much as you love him or hate him, as some people really don't like him because his relationship with his family and some of his relationships he's been with and things like that and how he treats people. But love him or hate him, phenomenal player, phenomenal career. If his career ends on a pick six, that is just, I don't think anybody deserves that. But Darren Sproles went out. It was pretty rough too. I think he got injured and that was about it. So it's not always ride off into the sunset or something.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, these guys keep coming back. I mean, but not this isn't a Steelers podcast, but the Steelers just ran it back one too many times. Like, let's run Tomlin back one more time. Let's run Rodgers back out one more time. And it's just that's a sorry franchise right now, in my opinion. Every they limp into the playoffs and they lose by 10 for like 5 years in a row. So yeah, they need
they're finally gonna get new coach, new quarterback, probably. Impair
not a star. I should have. That's a little mean to say they're a sorry franchise. They're a great fan base and obviously a historical franchise, but the past 5 years have been just putrid if you're a Steeler guy or gal.
Yeah. So shout out to D'Amico Ryans. Shout out to the Bills Mafia. Someone said they want to see me jump their table or something.
That's a few reels back. I brought that reel back right around the holiday. If you go back not too far in our reels around the holidays, around Christmas time, I reposted Phil getting slammed. One of the greatest slams you'll ever see. His head bounces off the frozen ground like a freaking tennis ball. And that was after the WIP guy like jumped half feet first and like slowly Austin Powers style fell over. And you were like, kaboom! It was a good one. About to just make that meme of the week since I'm depressed about the game.
Yeah.
I'm back to depression. I was angry. Now I'm back to being sad.
No, I'm happy. These boys were hardcore. These boys were lit. I'm gonna do meme of the week. My runner-up is these two boys. They're freaking shirtless.
Who I beefed with earlier in the year. Let's not forget. Like, I didn't realize that they sat behind us all the time, and like he was getting chippy.
Yeah.
It was like we were part of the game, and I turned around, I'm like, bro, I didn't even ever seen you in these seats before. And, like, we got chippy, but yeah, they were cool. They were really, really cool last week. Shout out to them.
Yeah, they were wild, and they were doing the national anthem. Man, they went all out, like, because they don't come to every game too, so they spent some bucks on their tickets. They bought tickets and supported Philly sports trips, and they had their lanyards on. Like, they went all out. They were ripping. They were. I don't know why I was doing weird things with the camera. And then the flag got all jacked. But it was cool with the arrow. That's my runner-up. My meme of the week is game on the line, 4 verticals.
That really is the play they ran. There was
People were like, this play would have been better. This would work. I'm like, no, honestly, they all went down the field, straight down the field.
Here's a Patullo indictment I saw, and I didn't share it, but hitch routes. They ran 27% of the routes ran in that game were hitch routes. And the league average of games that weekend was 12% of plays are hitch routes.
Yeah, if you look at Devontae Smith's route tree, if you look at this Devontae Smith's route tree, it is horrendous. It is all just like going out into the flat. He's like a big deep threat for the team, and he didn't have one like target like deep down the field.
I will give a runner up to a segment that I think as the year progressed did better than I thought it was going to be. I cannot believe how many people, random people that I had never met before in my entire life, referred to me as normal guy in the parking lots, zipping around the scooter, yelling at me. I'll give runner up to my final of the year, Tuesday Sips, which I got to get up early as flip to do those because you know what time I have to be at my job. And I'm going to go my final Tuesday Sips, which I unleashed on.
Good morning and welcome to the final Tuesday Sips with Normal Guy. Well, that season sure didn't end the way we wanted it to, but good news, everybody. The Phillies are reporting for pitchers and catchers in less than a month. And we have some big stuff planned for the page coming up. Shane Gillis comes to the link this summer, and we're throwing an Eagle-style tailgate. I'll be honest, I don't really think the team's going to make that many changes. We haven't had consistency at the offensive coordinator position in a long time, and I think they'll probably just stick to the status quo. Kevin! So keep your heads up, Birds fans. There's always next year. Plus, the Flyers are definitely going to make a nice playoff run. Go Birds, go Flyers, go Phils, and go Sixers. Why not?
So that last one was inspired by Aaron from San Diego, who actually just posted himself just saying the F word into the ground at his phone, and that was it. That was his post when the game's over. So that gave me the idea because that's how you feel when they lose. And Tuesday Sips always was like an even, like I would try to do an even keeled take. A lot of times it was my actual feelings. Like sometimes it was kind of putting on a character, but it was so much fun all year long. And man, hopefully we can get a coffee sponsor next year because I just bought coffee today. It was like $16 for like this chock full of nuts. Like, come on now. We gotta get coffee sponsor for the page. And I will go meme of the week. I'm gonna just go us heading up to the game, random Uber. We took the boys up, car full of 5, and I love that meme. I like how everybody called us out that it obviously wasn't 5 a.m. because it was light out. I like that song. In a random Uber at 5 a.m., no sleep, heading to the tailgate. Obvious troll. Oh, are you frozen? Did I lose you?
Oh,
Oh, you're back.
I was
You
watching
froze.
it the whole time.
Oh, I froze then.
I didn't think I had it pulled up. But yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
The Wizards,
if you don't know that meme, that's a classic.
the Wizards
listen,
jumping through.
My goal has always been and always will be with this page to please myself first, because that's how this started. It was an outlet for us to have fun, and we'll continue to do the stuff that makes us laugh. And I think along the way we're picking up some people that are riding with us, and it's been nothing but fun. So heck of a season. Great ride with you, bro. If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't spend nearly enough time together, and we get to spend 18 weeks chatting for an hour a day and countless
Hell
Sundays and
yeah.
road trips. And it's always been about family. Our fandom, it began with family, with our dad and our mom, and our dad working like crazy. And he would take the time always to watch games with us. And that love is getting brought into the next generation as our kids get older and everything like that. And we're going to keep it rolling.
It's been wild. And as we add like 8 to 10, sometimes 20 people that kind of downloaded on Spotify or whatever after the fact, they don't watch the lives. Obviously, like when you kind of subscribe to a podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get it, every week it kind of sends you a reminder when there's a new episode, or sometimes some people's phones are set to just automatically download that episode. So just cumulatively now getting like 1,000 downloads just from like 8, 10, 20 new people a week just subscribing. So it's definitely an audience inside the audience that supports us here. So it's been awesome. And we'll do some stuff too. We've got a lot of businesses and a lot of local people we want to highlight, and a lot of influencers. We didn't really get to bring on many guests and stuff. So I want to highlight some people, do some bonus episodes, and we'll do some Philly stuff too. So we're working on that too,
I
for
think
opening day.
I'm not trying to get too corny, but like I think there's like some truly unsung heroes throughout this process and things that we're doing that don't get their due. So the guys that cook and set up for some of these tailgates we go to, like it is such an unbelievable, selfless. It costs them money, labor of love, getting up at 5 a.m. and lugging grills and propane tanks and tents and cleaning up as we're going into the game to celebrate and have fun and jump around. Like they're scraping grease off the Blackstones, and those guys are the heart and soul of everything. We have ended up in a unbelievably lucky place where we kind of just get to bounce around and hang with everybody and just bring the vibes basically. And I think everybody has a niche in what we do. And maybe we could bring like an Uncle Ron on. Like I was almost going to give Uncle Ron meme of the week. Like, can you play that? Can you play Uncle Ron talking about the food at the tailgate? Which, by the way, I ate 0.0 bites of. Like, I didn't get one bite of.
Oh my God! So Matt made the it was like a regatta, and it had steak and it had tiger shrimp. Nothing was crazy.
I saw the video and I'm like, what the
Uncle
heck?
Ron made me Esposito's. Uncle Ron made me Esposito's roast pork with the long hots. Were the best. Long hots.
What up? Thanks for coming, Phil. So here's the menu for today. Esposito's roast pork. We have Italian cioppino on Joseph's sourdough focaccia. Sausage and peppers. Hot dogs, I believe we're out. We also have Matt Gore cooking up tiger shrimp and Wagyu picanha crostinis with whipped regat. Mac and cheese. I might get to the burritos. I might get to the breakfast sandwiches, but we got rushed. And then Lascata's cheesesteaks. He's crushing it. He's from Glen Mills.
Let's go! Mary Ellen.
It's like the Italian grandma that says to you, like, if I would have had more time, like you put out like 87 incredible things, but it's like, hey, if I would have had time, I would have baked the pie, or I would have done this. Like, Dude, you don't need to make breakfast sandwiches. You're making brigada things.
Yeah, he wanted to do. He called me before the game. He wanted to do them. While
And he
they were
thanks
waiting.
you. He says, "Thanks for coming, Phil." It's like, oh, thanks for being here since 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. He wanted to. I guess when they're waiting in line to get in the lot to do the breakfast sandwiches, but they would have had to probably fire up the Blackstone and do that in the middle of the street and then break it all down and then bring it back up again.
Yeah.
And then what else? Oh yeah, burritos. That was they were doing the roast pork with the long hots and all that was just crazy. But they had enough pork that he had I think he had rice and beans and wraps. So he was gonna put the pork and rice and beans in the wraps. Just
How
as
much
an
time
extra.
it takes to make rice, dude? It takes a freaking hour to make
I think I
rice.
got rice and beans and
Dude, they're not making Uncle Ben's minute rice. These guys are making rice from the rice takes an hour. I mean, come on.
it's die hard.
It's so hardcore. It's so hardcore. It's the
Yeah,
best.
cool. We'll have that time to
That's
set
what
them
it
out
is.
because this podcast will live on. We'll keep putting the clips and shouting those guys out for the next couple of weeks. We have nothing but time because we're not going to have another thing behind it. But yeah, Phillies in less than a month and Flyers and Sixers probably before April. We'll try and get to a game. So
Clearwater, maybe I got some extra days saved. I didn't have to burn any playoff or Super Bowl trip days. Maybe we do a little. Maybe we do a little Clearwater for the first time. That'd be a first timer if I go to Clearwater.
Well, signing off. Make sure you guys subscribe on all places you get your podcast and go to philthyandphilly.com and fill out the little form there too, so we can start growing our list, giving away some prizes. Go Birds!
Always, baby. Go Birds.